Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to get a little bit personal. I was trying to think of a topic to talk about. I am actually leaving on a plane out of town in a couple of hours and wanted to do one more video for this week. And I was thinking about something that has been pointed out to me quite frequently in my TikToks and even outside of my TikToks. And that is the fact that I don't really dress provocatively. And this is also something that's talked about in the manosphere in general, as far as like women dressing provocatively and whether a man should see that as problematic, especially when it's his girlfriend. So I want to talk about that today. I think that whether or not I dress provocatively can be argued, honestly. I think that it's a very subjective thing as to what is provocative because I have worn my fair share of crop tops and short shorts. And it kind of depends on the season, honestly. It depends on the temperature in my house. But I think that I mostly hear that because I don't show cleavage. And I think that's something that a lot of female creators do, especially on TikTok. And I've seen it definitely even on YouTube within the manosphere. So, let's get into it. Let's talk first about why I don't personally dress extremely provocative. Again, can be argued, but I personally do not want a type of attention that draws. And I'll never understand when women try to argue the point that, like, as if they have no idea that what they wear draws attention from men. Like they're completely oblivious because I think that's a bunch of BS. Like every woman past the age of 17 knows exactly what they're doing, and the fact that like what they're wearing is going to be considered sexy or not by a man, and whether it's going to draw his sexual attention. So it's one thing to like just completely deny it compared to, all right, if somebody is willing to dress provocative and like they can outwardly admit that that's what they're seeking, like I have a lot more respect for that, for the secondary. But for me, I don't want that type of attention. I don't know. It's likely due to my experiences growing up, to be honest. I was a girl that developed very early in age and before like most of my classmates. And I didn't like that different attention. I was not one that wanted to be ahead of the crowd with that. I didn't just want to be like the pretty one. I because as soon as I like hit that development, it changed how I was viewed. And before that, I was kind of like the nerdy, smart kid that did Girl Scouts that liked the outdoors. And I didn't want that to change. Like, I felt like that was still me. And people were seeing me suddenly in a different way just because my body was changing. So, anyways, I fought that like pretty much forever. I mean, I would question that I still fight that to this day, in that I don't want somebody to look at me and just even see a pretty face and think that I'm not smart or, I shouldn't be taken seriously. I think that I'm still very much like into a lot of girly stuff, but I have like this dual almost personality where I also am very nerdy in many ways. And for those of you that don't know, like I have a doctorate degree. I went to school for many, many years, and a bachelor's degree, even before that doctorate's degree in the sciences. So I have definitely seen that as part of my identity, is that I am very educated, very smart, and I just want other people to be able to take me seriously. So if I dressed like in a crazy provocative way, it just wouldn't sit well with me personally. The second big reason is that I want my social media to be congruent with the true me, right? So a lot of creators, female creators, will come on here and I will just, in my mind, kind of sometimes question whether or not they're, pulling down their top or, you know, pulling their shirt up, whatever, changing clothes into clothes that they would never wear out in the real world, and doing that before filming themselves or taking a photo. And I personally would not be okay with that with myself. Like, I feel like it's being true to myself by presenting myself in the same way that I would present myself going to the grocery store or going to a soccer game, like doing any of that. So I really see it as a litmus test for women to determine within themselves, if they're doing it for the attention of men. Because that I don't see really any other reason. There's lots of reasons why women will dress provocatively, but I think there's really only one reason why you will dress provocatively on social media, but not the real world. And that is for male attention that is sexual, that feels safe, right? So they might enjoy like male attention in general, but they don't want to do it in the real world because there's a level of feeling like maybe you could be putting yourself in an unsafe situation. But on social media, you have that safety, right? So you're more willing to put it out there, but it's still, that means that you're doing it for that sexual attention. Now, what I recommend for men that are unsure of how they feel about their girlfriend or wife posting these types of photos on social media, I would say use this same litmus test. Like, does she ever wear that same outfit out in the real world? And if so, then I don't think that's as problematic. But I think it is completely a red flag that if she never does, especially if she's not even wearing it when you guys are going out on a date and, it's a really sexy outfit and she has never worn it, but then she's posting herself on social media, that's a red flag. I think especially if she's responding to comments that is praising just her looks and sexualizing her, because this means that she's really encouraging that type of interaction even more. And that just emphasizes that she wants that type of attention. Is she dressing up and sexualizing herself with you? Like when she's with you and when she's going out on dates. Again, that's a huge red flag if she's not doing that when she's with you, but she is on social media. You could even, I think of myself when I go to the gym, even when I am with my boyfriend, right? So I will go to the gym some days by myself, depending on schedules. And I tend to kind of wear the baggy shirts and sweats those days. But if I'm going with him, I wear my tight leggings and my crop top. Well, not right now because I'm 4 months pregnant, but I'm just saying there's a difference there, because a woman that is like really attached to you and likes the attention from you as her partner and is okay with just having that from you, like she's going to seek that from you. And a woman that is just used to getting attention from multiple men, that is more like superficial, that's problematic. And she might be demonstrating those behaviors in which she's just dressing provocatively online and then doesn't care how she looks around you. Now, you can't say that this is like all cases where women are like wearing the sweats at home and she's not like doing herself up. Like, that I think is very normal. And then when she's posting photos on her social media, it might be when she's already kind of dressed up and makeup done in the real world for whatever special event. Like, that's pretty normal. I'm not saying that that's the red flag. And I think you guys know the difference there. So I want to talk about the arguments that a lot of women will make for dressing provocatively. And I want to talk about ones that maybe they don't necessarily make the arguments for, but what I think might be really going on. I think it's clearly a confidence boost. It can be like really a self-expression of themselves, which will give a sense of empowerment. The next one is interesting, and I didn't even really realize this until I was trying to see if there's been research studies about it. And that is that women will dress provocatively to improve their economic status. And these studies have shown that clothes that are big and not form fitting are commonly associated with working class. It really makes sense to me. That's why the girl going in for an interview to like a really nice office job, she's going to be better off wearing a pencil skirt compared to like baggy dress pants. The next reason, sorry guys, there's like an alarm going off in the background, so hopefully that is not annoyingly loud. The fourth one is just for more variety, right? So there's only so many same cut t-shirts that one wants to wear in their closet. And so, for me, especially like getting like the crop tops and the shorts, they're kind of a staple in today's fashion, and they can be layered with a lot of other things. I like to do a lot of layering. So anyways, it's more of a fashion reason. The next one is the one that women use quite often, and that's for female empowerment, right? So that's the idea that women have been restricted and seen differently by men based on what they're wearing. Back in the day, it was even if they were showing off their ankles, they were seen as dressing provocatively. And those standards were pushed upon them, and they had to feel like they couldn't wear anything, showing any part of skin of their body. So I get that in many senses, but obviously, like, there's a balance point, right? Like, that doesn't mean that you have to show your entire body in order to be empowered. Like, there should be somewhat of a balance there. The next reason, which I also understand for especially young girls, is that they are imitating their favorite idols. It's out there. You can see it all day long. Any kind of artist, they are wearing provocative clothing, especially when they're performing. So that imitation desire is very strong, especially at a young age. The next one I'm just going to mention because I think it changes how I dress depending on the season, and that's honestly the weather. Like, as it's getting warmer, I will wear less clothing, and I think that's normal. And it's just like how the environment will change what you're wearing. So, the girl wearing the bikini at the beach, no biggie. If she's wearing it walking down New York City sidewalks, that's another thing. And now the last one is what a lot of men would consider as the reason. And again, I think that they're right in many ways, and that is for attention. Women are not dumb. They know what they're doing. They know what the clothing that they wear, what kind of attention that it draws. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how men feel about women dressing provocatively and how they view women that dress provocatively. So I would be really interested, guys, even before I'm talking about this and giving you my opinion, put down in the comments what your true opinion is. Believe me, no judgment here from me. I am really just always interested in what men really think about certain things. Don't give me the politically correct answer. Do men look at women differently when they're dressing provocatively? I think that most men do, especially if she's dressing provocatively in that environment that she is in. So again, if it's a girl wearing short shorts that show like the edge of her booty at the beach where she was just wearing a bikini a second ago, I don't think that's going to be viewed as like super provocative. Now, if it's a lady though that's in New York City walking down the sidewalk and she's wearing short shorts with her bottom of her booty hanging out, I think that is going to be seen as very provocative. And it's very different from all the other people that are surrounding her. So the reason though that I think that men do think of women differently that dress this way is not necessarily because of what she's wearing, because it changes based on the environment, right? So it depends on what it means. And most men will view it as attention seeking if it's extremely provocative. And that's a behavior thing that he's not going to like because it's an indicator that she has low self-esteem. And I think that women can even say this about looking at a man that has behaviors that indicate that he has low self-esteem. You're just not going to respect them as much. You're not going to want to be close to them. You're not going to want to be in a relationship with them. So that is why when this kind of behavior occurs, they end up looking at you differently. Now, the other side of this, though, is that do men like their woman to dress provocatively for him? So now we're saying, already in a relationship type status, do men enjoy their woman dressing provocatively? This is another hot topic that has been debated in the manosphere, right? So it depends. I think a lot of men, I think most men absolutely enjoy it. They want their woman to look good because they like looking at their woman. And if they're in that relationship, then they can have confidence that she is dressing that way for him. He's the one taking her home that night. They're going home together. It's creating this really good energy between them. Even a man that is going out with his woman that looks really hot and he knows that other guys are going to oogle and look at her, but he really doesn't have a problem with that because he knows that her eyes are on him. And it's really about that chemistry between them. And I don't know, it gives a different sense to a relationship when you're together at home and you're feeling that between each other, and then you're going out in public. It's almost like a form of PDA, right? You're showing off essentially your relationship and what you have together, and that you're both highly desirable people that have chosen each other and you're focused on each other. And even putting yourself in an environment where there's more competition because there's other males out there and other women, it doesn't matter because you have each other and you're going to continue to choose each other. So I think that dynamic is really cool. Now, I think that for men that have a problem with their woman going out, a lot of times I think it's when they're going out without them that they're, dressing a certain way. And again, I would use that litmus test, right? If she's always dressing up most provocative when she's going out with her girlfriends and then not with you, absolutely that's the problem. But the problem is in the difference, right? You probably wouldn't have that problem with her doing that if she was also doing that with you. So it's not about control. It's not about the man being insecure. I think that it's more about him witnessing a woman's behavior. And he has all the rights in the world to, be uncomfortable with that and to speak up when he's seeing that difference in behavior and those red flags. All right, guys, so I got to go catch a plane. I got to pack, actually, and then go catch a plane. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next week.